Welcome to Wandering Minds podcast. I am Mickey.
I'm Mike, and today our special guest is Bridgit.
Hello, everybody.
Bridgit, welcome. I've been wanting to get you on for a long time. Tell the world what you do. Whatever you want the world to know, tell them what you do. I'm interested by your career and your fitness and all that stuff, so I want to know what you...
All right. Well, I am a single mom of two boys, and I actually work for the state in child welfare. And I know you guys from the gym. That's how we initially met. So I guess I'm kind of been doing that for about 10 years, like full on. But really, that's just pretty simple, you know? I'm a mom. I work full time. Try to stay healthy, take care of myself, keep up with my kids.
Yeah. So child welfare, what aspect of child welfare are you in? What do you do for that?
I work in visitation, so I supervise parents with their children.
So you actually do the supervising of the supervised visits.
Yes.
Tell the world how difficult that is, because I know how difficult that is, because I actually was in that field for a while. I worked at CAFA, Christians as Family Advocates.
Yeah.
And I actually taught a parenting class to the parents who needed to be supervised in these visits.
That's awesome.
But it was also so hard dealing with that, because basically you're restructuring what they think is parenting. Not to say that what they do as parenting is bad, but in a supervised visit, there's rules and regulations.
Right. And I mean, obviously, pretty much everybody there is there for a reason involving their parenting or lack thereof, or in somewhere that they need help or support. And so it's different. You're dealing with people, all different kinds of people from all different walks of life. And just because somebody's in that situation doesn't mean... I mean, every story is different.
Yep.
So some people come in very hostile. Some people come in and they're like, hey, I fucked up.
Yeah, they're honest.
And some people come in and they don't even understand why they're there. And so you have to just like look at it from every perspective, because maybe somebody has a drug and alcohol problem. Maybe somebody else does not. They just have some mental health issues. Or maybe you have somebody else that is just needing help with parenting skills and things of that nature. You know, when I first started, somebody once told me, all of us are one accidental mistake away from potentially being one of our clients.
Yeah.
And
that's
a DUI
reality.
with a kid in the back seat or something. And usually those cases resolve pretty quickly, because it's like...
There's no abuse.
It's not an ongoing...
Yeah.
And then you have the ones that are generational, where they were there as kids, and now they're the parent, and they're there. And it's just kind of like an ongoing rolling situation.
Yeah.
So it's just really about communicating with people, getting to know them, building a rapport with your families, letting them know that you're actually there to help and not there to...
Judge or...
Exactly. Not there to judge, not there to point a finger. I'm fortunate enough to be in the role where I'm like, hey, I'm the person that's trying to get you face to face and put you together with your kiddo as much as possible, and make sure that that time is good and quality time.
Yeah. So. And that's I think that you explained it beautifully, but there's still, until you're in the position that you're in, I don't think people really can appreciate how stressful it is for you too. Not to mention the families involved, but
I have never been in that situation on either end, but it seems like it would be incredibly mentally and emotionally exhausting.
It can be, because, I mean, you never know. One day you might meet somebody and just kind of start talking to them, and they just tell you everything, and then you have the people that are just angry, and you're getting cursed out, you're getting yelled at, you're getting...
like it was your fault they're in this position.
Yes, exactly.
Which is why you walk around with a box of wine daily. Joking.
I was going to say, hey,
I'm joking.
But yeah, and so it's tough, you know, because you're all these different personalities and everybody coming together, and you're just trying to help them. And then sometimes you have those people where they just keep coming at you, and you're like, you know what? Fine. Like, I'm not going to deny that I haven't had certain clients that, you know, after some time you see them working so hard and maybe it's not coming together, but I will put in that little bit extra, you know, like really trying to support. And then you have those people that are just constantly nasty to you. And you're like, you know, it's not making me want to like, you know, I mean, yes, I'm there to help them, but I'm not going to go above and beyond when they're just continuously like abusing me.
Well, and then you have to think, okay, well, if you're treating me like this,
Right.
how is the household?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's
Right.
the reality of it. If you're this kind of toxic, abusive person to me who's trying to
stranger.
help,
Yeah.
and a stranger,
Yeah. Like, your heart has to go out to those kids when you're in that situation.
It's emotional, but then you kind of learn. Some people can do it, and some people can't. You
Yeah.
kind of learn to turn it off. That might sound insensitive, but you kind of get jaded to a lot of things.
Yeah.
I've discovered sometimes I do have a switch where, you know, I'll tell somebody, I never get into like super detail or graphic, you know, and they're like, oh my God, that's the most horrible thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, you know, you get a little jaded.
another day at the office. Yeah.
Or you have just situations, and they are horrible. Sometimes I have to pull myself back and be like, actually, that is really, really horrible. And I'm just kind of like, another day at the office, you know, and it does get emotional. And some days you go home and hug your kids a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids know what I do.
Yeah.
You know, they know and they understand, but they don't understand.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
they can't.
Yeah.
They're-
Yeah. I mean, as they get older, they kind of know, but it's not like I go home and be like, so guess what happened at the office
Right.
today,
Yeah.
kids?
Well, age appropriate for everything, but it's like there's a lot of stuff kids shouldn't know.
Yeah, my kids think I'm a workaholic.
Yeah.
Well, because also, like over COVID and everything, we couldn't do face-to-face visits with folks for like a good 2-3 months.
Yeah.
We were only doing like Zoom video visits,
Yeah.
which was really hard. You have these parents that aren't even getting to physically see their children that were just removed. And so my kids actually, because I'd be like on Zoom calls, and sometimes I'd have headphones on, sometimes I wouldn't. But, you know, I'm in my own little corner, but the kids are like around the house, you know, they know they're not supposed to be around when I'm doing those,
Right.
but occasionally it's like they go to the kitchen to get a glass of water and they're like, Mom, what was that?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, having to give them a simplified version of what I do.
Well, and that's what makes you a special person. I mean, it really is. And I'm not saying that because I'm saying it because it's fucking true. I mean, the reality is without people like you, where would these people be? You know what I mean? So you're taking a hit for a lot. You're taking a stressful toll for the sake of bettering families and realistically bettering the children's lives, because that's what this is about. It's about the children.
It's about children's safety.
Yeah.
That's what it really boils down to.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people look at the parents, oh, poor parents, oh, poor parents. The parents are fucking adults. They made their choice. They chose this. It's the poor children. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's really about.
yeah, and I mean, there are some parents, though, that do get twisted into, I mean, yes, no, it is poor, the kids, it's about the children's safety,
Yeah.
but you see these generational ones where, you know, you have parents that had kids really young, and they came from a situation, and they just were never taught those skills.
Sorry, my straw is driving me nuts.
It's noisy.
Yes.
I know, and
noisy.
I'm going to adjust these. You need to get headphones for little people.
That's why I wear a hat.
I know. Well, this one feels tighter, but that one, yeah. They're all a little different.
I joke at the gym all the time about how Erica and I do, and we're going to make a gym for small, short people, because I have booster seats all over the
I
place.
feel like a lot of the stuff there is set up for very tall people.
It is. Well,
Which is understandable.
yeah, you know who owns the joint, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of tall.
I know. So, but how did you get into that line of work? Did you have you always had like a passion for doing like social work, or?
I kind of just fell into it. It wasn't like something that I have been going for from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have more recently thought about going into casework, but I have to finish my degree. I don't have my degree finished. But when I was younger, I always like took care of kids, always had something, like I was a nanny. I went to New York to be a nanny for a while. Not that has to do with child safety, but just taking care of kids. And
I just had like this flash of like a sheepdog.
And I did that, but then really, I mean, when I started working, when I was younger, like out of school and everything, I was more into like administrative stuff and banking and clerical type things. And then I moved. I guess I didn't actually move out of the clerical thing. I started working for AT&T, a cell phone company, but I didn't do sales. I worked in kind of like finance and inventory and marketing and all that. And I got really tired of that. And I was living in Bend for a while, and I moved back home, and my neighbor worked for child welfare, and her and I became good friends, and she was like, hey, there's a position, you should apply for the state, it's really great. And initially, when I started with the state, I started in self-sufficiency, which is like the SNAP benefits and ERDC program and things like that. And I only did that for about 3 months because I knew I really wanted to be in child welfare. And after about 3 months, I got that job, and now it's been almost 10 years.
Wow.
So I've held a couple different positions, but the visitation supervision, I think it's been about almost 6 now that I've been doing that specific. But
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was going to college for
That specific.
for social services or anything. It was just something I've always kind of liked.
So what do you need to finish your degree? Do you have like your...
I don't have a lot left to do.
Yeah.
It's actually right now is the best time that I should do it because everything's still online.
Oh, yeah.
Because that has been part of the problem for me is I've had a full-time, 40-hour-a-week job
and
since
kids.
I was 16 years old.
Yeah, not 2 kids since you're 16.
Well,
Maybe.
Since I was 16 years old, I've had a 40-hour-a-week job.
Yeah.
And then, having a couple of kids. So going and just finishing very little of what I need to do, but saying, oh, I need to go to, and sit in a classroom 3 days a week for so many hours. And I'm like, I can't do that. I don't have that time. I have to go to work. I have to pay my bills.
Yeah.
I have to
make dinner. Clean your kitchen. Just little things.
Right.
That make it difficult.
So actually, for the past year, I've really been bouncing that around because I'm like, there's not a whole lot I have left to do. But also, I really enjoy the position I have now. Moving into casework could be really freaking stressful.
Really?
Sometimes. Well, also, it's a lot more paperwork and a lot less actual contact with the families, and that's part of what I like. I'm like hands-on with them more, and people assume that casework you're a lot more hands-on with the families when really it's just a lot of paperwork and court reports.
So why then? Why is that even a thought for you? Is it better income? Gotcha.
It's better income.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, also at the same time, I've been in child welfare long enough to see, like, it's unfortunate, and I'm not saying there's, I guess maybe good caseworkers and bad caseworkers, but seriously, even though there is policy and protocols, at the end of the day, the person that's writing the report, I don't care who you are, somehow, no matter what, your opinion or your, you got to be conscious of your own bias, but everybody's little bit, it's going to creep into how you portray that story to the audience that you're giving it to your supervisor, to the judge that's reading it, so I've seen cases where it's like make or break kind of in that way. I've seen cases that are like, these kids are going to go up for adoption, and then that worker leaves the agency and another worker comes in and goes, what the fuck is going on right now?
Really?
And within like a month, those kids are back home with their parents.
Wow.
Yeah. I've seen.
That's sad. That's sad to
just
think that reality, because these are families.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, it comes down to the kids. Like, yeah.
I've also seen cases where, and this is just my opinion, I am not a judge, I am not, all the things, but I've seen cases too where I'm like, why in the hell are they dragging this out? This just needs to be done, terminated. These kids need to move on to a better place, because going back, there's just no way in hell.
Yeah.
Like, or there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But that's why there's supposed to be so many checks and balances in the process.
Yeah, I can see where the drive would be there, though, if you feel like you're making a difference now, right? Because you're, like, helping the parents to be able to have this time with their kids, but to really, like, have kind of a bigger impact with...
Like an influence?
Kind of an influence with the future of these of the families, yeah.
And I've been around long enough that I've seen so many different cases come through and how that works. So, I mean, it's definitely... interesting. Some are sad. You get some really happy stories.
Yeah.
I just the other day was over at the mall, and one of the kids that I did visits for like 3 years ago saw me down an aisle and was like, Bridgit! Comes running up and hugs me. It took me like a minute because it's 3 years ago.
Yeah.
She's like a teenager now. And
she probably looks a lot different, and you probably look the same.
Right. Once we get older and we're aging, but we just
don't really
kind of look the same. Yeah. So, trying not to age too fast.
Yeah. That's Mickey's story all the time.
Oh.
She's not though. But so is this a reason? I'm not trying to segue away from this, but is this a reason why you're so, I want to say, for lack of a better phrase, hardcore in the gym?
Like stress relief?
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it would matter what yes, it is a stress relief. I always, people are like, oh, you should take a break from the gym. And I'm like,
fuck them.
Who's going to get murdered first?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
My kids are like, Mom, you need to go sweat it out.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kind of an all or nothing. I'm a driven person. I've always been that way. I've always been just kind of like a worker. And like I said, I've had a full-time job. When I was 16, I was going to school and working 40 hours a week.
Wow.
And I mean, like in high school, and was still, like a straight A student. I was just, I'm in it. And so when I wasn't athletic in school. I wasn't on all the sports teams or anything. It was
I always thought you were a gymnast or something.
No.
That's what...
Cheerleader. No.
I did cheerlead one season of football in high school, but then I had a job and it interfered with
So you were
practices.
just a worker.
Yeah. And when I was a cheerleader, I was a flyer,
The ones that flew up in the air.
Scary.
You're like, oh, you weigh 95 pounds. Thank God I don't weigh 95 pounds anymore. But, no, I think in regards to just, like, working hard, also...
Work ethic.
Yeah, work ethic. And then, I mean, I've only been, I guess, gym junkie, if you want to call it, probably about 10 years. So after I had my second kiddo, I had my kids, I didn't have my first until I was 29. My second, I was 32. So I guess some people, I started older than a lot of people. And I had littles, and I'm like, I'm not getting any younger. I don't want to say I'm an old mom, but all my friends already had kids much older.
Yeah.
I didn't have my first till I was 27, so I don't think that...
Yeah, we're like right on this. And also when you hit the second baby, 32, 33, your body's just not the same anymore.
I was thinking like, wow, I was how old when I had her?
Yeah, and so I'm like, I just need to start doing something for me. Also, I have these 2 little dudes that I'm going to have to keep up with. And, just stress relief. I just decided I wanted to make a change for the better, and actually started off with just running. I would get up every morning at 4:35 a.m. and go run a few miles around the block. And, like I said, if I decide I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm just committed to it. And that's why, when you're trying to get me into power lift, I'm like, it's not a hard no, but when I'm ready to say I'm 100% in, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And so, between the stress relief and the health benefits and, I literally remember the last time I picked my sleeping kid up off the couch and carried him up the stairs and was like, this is the last time this is going to happen, But he was like 10, and I was like, this is rad.
Yeah.
That you could do it.
Yeah. When we go out in the backyard and we're playing or, whatever, and I'm like not all winded and feeling like shit. And now I'm in better shape than they are. So now I have to tell them, like, come on, guys, we're going.
Yeah. No, there's a lot with being an older mom with wanting to be able to keep up with your kids. Yeah. It's important.
Yeah, and I want to teach them.
And you're not I don't think you're an older mom, but I'm just.
No. Well, you probably had this. A lot of people, were having kids, 22, 23, 24.
Yeah.
And so by the time you are, everybody else's kids are a little bit older, and you're just starting at a different time.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to like work ethic, having my job, and then even going to the gym, like I want to teach my kids healthy lifestyles too. I want to teach them good work ethic. I want to teach them how to be independent and how to be driven and how to be healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when they see you enjoying it, then they're more likely to enjoy it.
I hope so.
I think so.
And you've been bringing them to the gym lately too, right?
Yeah,
at least one of them. But
yeah, a couple years ago they did kids class with Rush, and then they've done a few with Austin. But they did it partially through the school year and partially through summer. But my kids go to school out in Pleasant Hill.
Oh, okay.
And so with like the bus schedule and getting them there didn't always line up, and then the schedule with their dad, a lot of times when they were with their dad, they wouldn't go. And so I was like, I'm just going to do drop-ins with them and stuff and bring them when they want to come with me. And so they both come with me, but like at different times. And I think people get confused because even though they're 2.5 years apart, they look a lot alike. And when they like see me come in with a kid, people are like, oh, which one are your kids? I bring them both. I just bring them at separate times.
Yeah.
and so they enjoy it.
Good.
I mean, well, my youngest enjoys it more than my oldest, but my oldest is learning.
Yeah.
I wrote him up a workout plan recently.
Did you really?
I did.
Nice.
He came into like a kids class and he was struggling, and I was like, all right, I'm making you a plan. Went home, wrote up every morning you're getting up, you're doing this before anything else.
Yeah.
I was like, and then you have to call me and tell me you did it, and then you have to send me a screenshot of your run tracker.
Accountability.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Awesome. They know they can't lie to me anyway, but accountability.
So what classes, what kind of training are you doing right now?
I just do like the Hit Hurt, we used to call them Beast Camp classes on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and then I do Weekend Warrior on Saturdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I meet up with a couple of buddies from the gym, and we kind of just do our own thing. But I'm going to start incorporating in superset more. I want to do more strength training as well.
Yeah.
I'm told you I'm itching my way there.
Got 6 months, 5 months.
But I do. I want to do more strength training. I mean, I know I have it in me. I know I'm strong even in what I am doing. But I don't know. It's good to mix it up. You get stuck in the same thing and you just kind of plateau and you just, I need to kind of shock my system a little bit. And it doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing. I really enjoy. That's part of it. It's like everybody's like, oh, you should do this. I'm like, actually, I just really like doing the stuff that I do. I have fun. I enjoy doing it. But I do like lifting as well. I do like strength training. And so I had actually just talked to Austin and to Flex the other day. And I was like, hey, I'm going to start I'm going to figure out my own rotation of what I'm doing. Or even if I can't, I have that Tuesday, Thursday where I'm like, if it's still on the board, or I message one of them and I'm like, just send me send me what it was, send me the class, and do it on my own.
So what? Now you told me the other day your squat was like what was your squat for reps?
You're gonna make me do math under pressure. 165
for sets of
10 or
what?
12.
That's what I'm talking about. She can walk into a competition right now and get state records at 165, and you weigh what, 115?
I don't know. Something like that. I don't own a scale. I don't own a
no,
scale.
and that's fine. But you're
I don't know what I weigh. I don't like to get on scale.
Roughly 115-ish, right?
Probably, yeah.
You did a set of 10.
How much? Now the real math is how much over body weight is that?
It's 50 pounds.
Yeah. Are you looking at
for sets of 10?
That's okay.
No, that's really fucking okay. That's what I'm saying.
But that's impressive. That would be if I could do a set of 10 of 225.
Yeah.
I can't even do 225.
Well, you probably could. You just haven't
a set
trained
of
like that
10?
for a while.
No, I haven't. But still, you
But
should
what
know.
about for
That's super impressive.
5 or 4?
What's
I
your...
haven't, on it, to be fair, like, I haven't really squatted heavy in a while. Like, I'm working back up to it.
Yeah.
But regardless of where I'm at, like, you should know that
That's...
the fact that it's 50 pounds approximately over your body weight, that's insane.
I'm always just scared of getting hurt.
Yeah.
Last year,
Yeah.
I like messed up my back pretty bad twice.
The mental part of it is
and
a
it
big
was
one.
Especially when you have a pre-existing injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
It's the pressure.
I told you I was scared and I was going to get too cold, and now I'm like,
Yeah. Oh,
know.
pressure's on.
Yeah,
Pressure's
I
on.
know.
Because
No.
now we're talking big numbers. So what's your bench? Do you know?
no, like nothing.
Nothing. Shit.
like,
Shit.
my bench is like,
Well, it's funny to me because you don't think it's heavy, but it's like one of her videos. She posted her stories or videos that. Oh no, it was Austin, and he always shows like his clients and stuff. And here she is using the gold kettlebell, doing reps, the squats, the gold kettlebell, which is 106 fucking pounds. 106 pounds.
yeah, they make us use that one a lot.
Yeah. But not a lot of people
jumps
can
the-
even hold that thing for very long, let alone squat down for reps with that.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's like you don't even realize how strong you are, because I don't think anybody's ever said, well, everybody says how fucking strong you are, but I don't think you realize where your potential, even at your old age,
At my
where-
ripe old age.
your potential, because I guarantee.
Oh, man.
So going back to your bench, what do you think your bench is?
I think, because I don't do bench
Yeah.
very often, I think the most, and I don't go for like 1 rep
Yeah.
maxes. We're in a class, so we're,
Yeah.
So I think the most done is like 95 pounds.
On the bar?
Yeah.
First sets of...
I don't know, 5 or 7.
See, that's fucking good though.
That's a lot.
That's what I'm talking
So,
about. That's
Not anything.
but that
It is
is
something.
when you're
It is.
when you're
Like I said,
repping it
under-
out for
Under myself.
well, but that's the good thing. So I think that's good. Have you deadlifted?
Not anything other than I have no idea what that is for
Yeah.
me. Like, I have no idea. I mean, yes, I have, but it's just like
You're
whatever
just not
they
sure
put
where
on
it's
there
at.
and they just tell me to do it and I do it.
Is it like 2 plates?
Maybe.
That's 225.
No, then it's not that much. It's probably like, I don't think it's 225.
Yeah, I don't
don't
believe
know.
you now. I'm gonna.
I don't know. We'll try it tomorrow.
Is anything what Erica does?
Is anything? what
Is
do you-
it similar to what she does in weight?
Not on bench. That
No,
chick is-
like on deadlift.
She's
deadlift.
so strong.
She's so strong.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get her to compete too.
Yeah, she would kill it. She's been training for strength training for a while now
Mm-hmm.
with her kids and doing that class. And so I know today they were doing deadlifts and she hit
repped
it.
out
She
225.
was, she was killing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I know. I was like, I have not done 225.
Yeah. Because remember when I sent you the records, the between 98, 105, and 114, you can just crush. You can crush. But there's a lady at 124,
Yeah, something
somewhere
like
down,
that.
and then up a weight class like 130 something. She has both those weight classes, right?
Yeah, I think she has the 132 and the
20
124
yeah,
or whatever
yeah,
it is.
Yeah, and those numbers are big.
Yeah.
Those are big numbers, but
So it
Yeah, but-
sounds like you could just keep training the way that you are and just continue to have fun and do the meet and still blow it out of the water.
that's what I'm trying to tell her to do.
Yeah.
Just compete without any pressure, because the biggest pressure, other than those stupid singlets, the biggest pressure is just getting the meat under your belt.
Yeah.
So many people go in there with high anxiety, and they're like, it's like if you get the first one under your belt, it's like the next one is just
I think I need that, a little bit of that pressure
Mm-hmm.
because like I'm competitive, but it's fun. Erica's competitive too, but we're competitive in different ways. Molly always makes fun of me. She's like, Bridget's competitive. She's like, safe competitive. She only knows she's going to do it if she's going to like.
So you only do it if you know you're going to do it. Yeah.
Know.
I'm going to nail it.
Stair climber.
I know.
Yeah.
I already knew. I was like, I was going to say, your best time was all, like, even before. But I beat my own time on that one that time.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. By the way, my weighted vest, I don't have it anymore.
Oh, I have one. Don't worry.
No, but mine was fitted for me. I had to have a little person one.
I got a small or extra small for Raj. I got you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Mine was stolen out of my car.
Oh, that sucks.
So,
But they were disappointed.
right. They were probably like, what the hell is this? Yeah. So, why don't you?
Good question,
done
Mickey.
a meet?
Good question.
What was your question?
How come you don't compete?
I've done a meet.
Okay.
I did it, I don't know. It was February of 2020 because it was just before everything shut down.
Okay.
And we didn't have a coach. We were basically like each other's handlers. I also chose to use knee wraps, which is the difference between raw and raw classic raw, whatever.
Okay.
And I only lifted with them a couple times. The wraps.
They suck.
They suck. Putting them on, they were super tight. I didn't know when to put them on. I just didn't really know anything. I remember at some point telling my husband, like, hey, I need a sandwich because I didn't bring any food. He was gone, like,
starving.
Yeah, and he left for like 2 hours and finally brought me back my sandwich. And I was like,
by that time you were
right.
hangry.
Yeah.
Yeah, which doesn't take long for me.
I'm
And I was
terrible.
like, at that point, like I was about to lift, so I was unfueled. I was having severe anxiety. The loud, all the people.
Mm-hmm.
I am a people person, but I'm also, what's the word where you like absorb other people's feelings?
Empath.
I'm an empath, so it was a lot of input for me.
Sure.
And then not really knowing what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
Like, the first time, I just like instantly racked the squat, and I like.
So with squat, you have to listen for the command.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
We
when we were at the last one, and Erica came, and it was funny because I've never competed, but I've watched a few of them, and I have enough friends that compete and that do it, and you just kind of pick up on little things and learn little things, you know, because that's what I would think would probably be the most challenging. And I mean, honestly, how brave of you is to do that for your first time with no coach. Cause
Well, he had done it before.
But the funny little rules about like when you get to do all these different, you know, like when you're supposed to go down, when you're supposed to come up, when and when you're supposed to rack it or not, or walk off or not. And I would think that it's all those little kind of, I don't want to say nitpicky, but just
You
those
have to
tiny
practice
little
it for
things.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't, I guess, realize what I had kind of absorbed over time. Because then, you know, she comes and she's like talking to me about it, and I'm like explaining to her. I'm like, nope, they can't do that yet. Nope, they can't do that yet. And she's like, what are you talking about? What are these wacky ass rules? And I'm, you know, I'm like, no, it's very specific. And she was just. And then you would come up and started talking to us, and I was like, well, I'll let you take over because you know way more about it than I do.
Well, and that's the hard thing, especially like on her first, and going back to Mickey, she got state records in all her lifts. So this wasn't, it's not like she didn't fail anything.
No.
There was a few lifts where like her first squat was a state record. So on squat, you got to unrack it, listen for the judge to say start or squat down, and it has to be below depth. Below depth for power lifters is this crease below the top of the knee.
Okay.
That's depth for us. And you can come up at any time. So you don't have to wait for an up call, but you have to get below depth. But then once you're at the top, you got to wait for him to say rack it. And she flew into the rack.
Because it's habitual.
Yeah.
That's how I've always squatted, right?
Right.
I'd rarely practice like locking out and then waiting. Yeah, which wasn't a big deal.
But
right?
you got wraps on your knees that are literally cutting blood circulation off your entire body. They suck.
Painful. But between that, it was just not fun. To me, it was not fun. I was like, this is super stressful. I'm having.
So you really just have no interest in doing it again? Like
I don't know. I kind of do because like we weren't part of that community then. And now that we are, like, I know all the lifters, right?
Sure.
It would be different. There would be that support there. It wouldn't just me. So, like, I was in Flight A, so I went with the, like, first group of people. He was in Flight B, so he went with the second group of people. When I'm trying to figure out when I lift, he's over warming up, so he couldn't help me.
Right, and you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Exactly.
So,
So I was very alone,
Mhm.
and it just was not
Yeah,
fun.
that wouldn't be, that's part
Yeah.
of, when he was encouraging me to do it, I'm like, and I had brought my kids to that one, and that was, it was a fun one to bring kids to because it was such a small meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also because we know so many
Yeah.
people there that it makes it so much more fun versus, you only know one or two and you're just waiting for
Yeah,
like that
hours
that
to go, yeah,
hours
for your
for
lifter.
the 1 minute of seeing your person.
Yeah.
And so it was for me, it was a fun one to go and watch because like the entire women's other than like 3 people, I was like, I know them and I know them.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And for my kids too, it was the first time they'd come to a couple of other ones before where we just kind of hopped in and then, saw a couple people and skipped out. And so for that one, it was really cool for them because they were like, oh my gosh, we know all these people and look what they're doing.
Mhm.
And so I liked that for them too because just kind of encouraging them in that environment. And it's such a fun, supportive environment. So I can see where you would now think like, okay, now I could maybe you should give it another
It could
whirl.
be fun, yeah. Well, we had started training with Devin to do another one, and then I got hurt, and I was like, still coming back from it. That was a year and a half ago. So
Yeah, getting hurt sucks.
yeah.
So that's the other thing that I kind of get hesitant about is because I did hurt myself a couple times, and it wasn't even over like lifting anything heavy.
Yeah.
It was just something stupid, and you throw your back out, and I don't slow down well. I don't take breaks very well. Go a little batshit crazy. I get frustrated. I get annoyed. I get pissy. I get cranky. I get bitchy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I can't, I'm consistent in my routine, and so if I get hurt, and so I'm like, I just get irritable.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if they tell me, oh, you can't do this, or we don't want you to lift over 15 pounds for a month, and I'm like, the fuck
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and the good
no.
thing about, like, if you were to get with one of the coaches, form and technique is everything.
Mm-hmm.
It really is everything, which when you're using proper form, proper technique, you're less likely to get an injury going heavy.
Just yesterday, today's Friday, right? Yesterday, Thursday, I was working out with Erica, and we were doing some like front squats, and she was like, oh, try this, because her son, he's a physical therapist, and she was like, try, locking in this. Oh my gosh, just by changing that little we were like, whoa, we could go up a whole bunch more
Yeah.
weight. We felt so much more solid and
Yeah.
comfortable, and I was like, this is fantastic. And it was just one of those, like you said, just need to get it with a coach.
Well, and that's it.
learn
I
all
think
the right things.
when it comes to like deadlifting and squatting, what a lot of people who don't power lift don't understand is like breath, core, holding breath properly, squeezing your lats, getting your lats engaged, all that core locking in everything
Right.
makes the weight gets lighter when you do stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't realize like how strong you
Yeah.
really are, or what you can really do by just doing it the right way.
That's well, and the thing is if you're not a power lifter, you don't know these things, right? Because not everybody is
Not
putting
even all
500
powerlifters
pounds
know
on
it.
their back. Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, and then I think, God, I wouldn't even be able to afford to be a power lifter. You know how much I would eat?
Right.
I eat constantly all the time anyway.
Yeah.
I'd be like, for crying out loud.
That's yeah. I guess if you're
I'd be like, I can't keep up with this.
yeah. So what kind of diet are you on? What kind of meal plan do you do? How many calories do you eat a day? Do you keep track of that?
I cheat all the time these days. That's one of those other things. When you and I were talking, I was talking to him the other day, and I was like, before I dive into this project, I have some like things I want to focus on, and just getting back on track. I've been really strict before, and it's been really successful at like just kind of maintaining muscle mass or gaining it and losing fat, to the point where it's like, I mean, everybody needs a cheat day. It's good,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like something that I would want to maintain or sustain that particular like weight or look. And so I've loosened up a lot on it. There are things that I could fix for the better. Probably eat around 1,700 to 2,000 calories a day, give or take. But I also try to stay with, like, eat a lot of protein.
Yeah. Because you're burning a lot daily.
Yeah. I burn a lot. I start off my day that way, you know? Like, I start off my day basically in the negative. I mean, it takes until after lunch before I've hit zero, you know, half the time. Except for there are days where I'm like, it is 10 a.m. and I'm like, I only got 300 calories left for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of those days.
It's just how it be, right?
Yeah, I just eat.
Well, but you're the kind of crazy that will be on the stairs for 45 minutes before the fucking...
Not 45.
You see, it's close. Before the Austin's class on Saturdays, just to warm up.
I gotta warm up.
Yeah.
But that's one of the reasons, too, that, like...
And fast. We're not talking slow. You know me, when I did the challenge, I was, like, dying going fast. That's her just on a regular heart rate basis, just to warm up.
But
Pretty sure.
But I have to put myself in check, though, because I'm not, like, kind of, like, type A personality, a little bit OCD, a little bit of a perfectionist. So I have to... It's almost one of those reasons, like, why I don't own a weight, like a body scale, you know? Or, like, even when it comes to my food, sometimes I'm, like... Because I put it in, like, my Fitness Pal, and sometimes I'm, like, I gotta put it away, or I get too, like...
Hyper-focused?
Too hyper-focused, too much, like, it has to be exactly this, and... The other day I pulled out the food scale and my kid's like, "Oh, Mom, you're going to get all weird again, huh?" You know? And so I have to just, like, I don't know, balance, really, is what it comes down to, you know? Otherwise I get too focused, too, like, locked into, like, you know, you got to relax sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you got to enjoy.
Yeah, otherwise it's no fun. What are we here for? Like, you think I work my ass off at the gym every day and then... But I can't have a piece of pizza. That's why. Why.
Exactly.
So I can.
What kind of proteins do you take in? Is it meats or steaks, chicken?
I eat a lot of chicken and I eat a lot of tuna fish.
Yeah.
And I eat some weird things that are like fake protein.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because...
Like as in a vegetarian type of meat type of thing?
No, like things like... when... Several years ago, I did this kind of like challenge... And Molly wrote me up a macro plan, like where I had so much percentage of protein, carbs, fat. And I follow that now still, loosely, but I do follow it to a certain degree. And my fat intake is very, very low. So, like cheese. They do actually make fat-free cheese. It's probably like consuming plastic, but...
Yeah, probably.
But it still has somewhat decent flavor, and you can get protein from it. It's probably not real protein. Well, it's definitely not real protein, but it's there, you know. And then I used to do protein shakes and stuff, but I stopped because I would be too hungry too often if I was like drinking my nutrition and to eat it. Yeah. So. And
you lost a lot because you showed me a picture of the before and after. Right? Is that what you were talking about when Molly made you your macros?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I was super strict.
You should actually send that, if you want people to see it, you should send that to Mickey and she can embed that in the video.
Yeah. That was like 6 years ago.
Well, but still, it's like, how long did it take you to go from that to that?
90 days.
90, okay.
So, I mean, I guess it is kind of an eye-opener for those, like, what you can actually do in 90 days if you just stick to it.
That's what mine was. I went from 180, I think I peaked at like 186 or 184, 186, and within 90 days I was down to 160. Actually, I got down for competition to 160 within that 90-day window. And
my weight didn't change a ton because I gained some muscle mass, but
your percentages changed.
My percentages changed, but I'm not a huge person, so percentages like there was several people doing that competition at that same time, and there was another man and I that like tied, but him and his wife both still come into the gym, but he's 6 foot something, you know, like probably 280, 300. He's a big man, you know, And he lost a ton of weight too, and like we have our before and after pictures and everything, and he kicked ass as well.
Yeah.
And we ended up like basically tying based off of like the percentages of like body fat that we lost and things like that.
What'd you lose in body fat? Do you remember?
I have to look.
So you went probably from, because I think you
I
told me
started at like 19%. Is it?
And you went down to 11?
To 11.
Yeah. Wow.
It was like 11.9 or
Yeah.
something. Like it was almost 12, but still.
That's super impressive. I went from, I don't remember. I feel like I was in like the 30s, mid to high 30%, and got down to 11%.
That's huge.
Yeah.
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 That's a ton. But I wouldn't, people carry it differently.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Everybody carries it differently. Like one person can be at like 11% and the person next to them could be at 11% and one person looks sickly.
Yeah.
I looked I was like, by the time it was done, I was like, I'm glad I did that. I had a shit ton of energy.
You did?
Oh my God, I had so much energy. I like was melting fat off like nobody's business, eating like 2,900 calories a day and just shrinking. Wow. And I had so much energy. But at the end of the day, I was like, well, one, I want to eat some ice cream. And two, I was like, I don't want to look like I'm in a skeleton.
A crackhead,
like,
yeah.
I mean, yes, I was muscular and I was fit, but I looked like, when I'm wearing clothes, I look like a hanger. I was like, I don't want to look this way. Like, I want to put on, like, I want to thicken up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was cool to know what kind of like control I can have over my body mm-hmm. and what I can do with some discipline and what you can really do in 90 days. That's not a really long period of time in the scheme of things. And it was just kind of like a fun challenge, and it was really eye-opening. But then, at the end of the day, I was like, bring me a loaf of French bread and something creamy.
Yeah.
That's me every day.
Yeah. And it took me, like, I still maintained, like, I didn't just go hog wild after that, like junk food out or whatever. And I want to say probably the healthy, like, if I look at pictures, it's probably like a year and a half later where I was like, that's my perfect spot.
Nice. Yeah.
I've gone past that a little bit now, but I'm not that
amazing.
worried about it.
What it takes to get back there.
Yeah, I don't worry about it a ton.
That's good. That's good.
It's that life balance.
The balance.
Am I gonna go do this today, or am I gonna go take the kids down to get ice cream from the truck, and we're gonna go have a play day and run around?
Yeah.
It's just that balance. Like, you're an old lady like me.
Yes. Well, and it's funny because when you said everybody looks different, they hold it differently. Brett, Ryan, and myself at this last competition, which was not this last one, the last one that I competed in, which was a couple months ago.
August.
Oh yeah, August. We were all 18%. We were sitting at 18% body fat.
And y'all look.
We all look fucking different. These guys look like Greek gods, and I look like fucking Oompa Loompa. I look like a fucking marshmallow.
No, you
don't. But it's funny because
Brett,
you get Brett.
Yeah, and who?
Ryan. So you got
Pedersen?
Yes.
Oh.
So you got Ryan in his 20s,
Finally.
Brett in his 30s, and me in my 40s. And of course they're taller than me, but that doesn't matter. But
percentage is percentage.
Percentage is percentage, and the funny thing is these guys look fucking good. Look really, really good.
You don't look bad.
And, well, I'm not saying I look bad, but when you put me next to them, and we're all at 18% body fat, I'm the fat part of that 18%. where they're the like, I look like I'm fucking just pumping shit up.
Everybody carries it different, and it's so weird because we like live in this society.
You're so hard on yourself.
I know, he is so hard on himself, but I think we live.
You have to be.
We live in this society where, like, it's driven into our heads that, like, you look a certain way if you're fit or if you're in shape or if you're healthy, and people, like, appearance wise look at you and they like, oh, you look like that, so you must be
Make an
healthy
assumption.
and fit.
Yeah.
And but this person over here looks like this, so they must not be healthy and fit. They don't know what the fuck they're...
Yeah.
Like, they judge that based on, like, body size or something.
Composition.
Like, yeah.
Well, and that's
skinnier is healthier, but
Yeah.
not necessarily.
well,
no,
and
not
our
at
gym
all.
is a perfect example
And-
because you got so many people of so many different sizes that are fucking fit and strong.
Yeah.
all the way around.
And you have different body compositions. I mean, just because somebody's got a smaller frame or, like, their muscles on their body are displayed differently than somebody, it doesn't, nobody knows. And that's one of the things that I have people that all the time are like, oh, your gym intimidates me, I don't want to go there. And I'm like, you
It's
have
the opposite.
all different ages,
Yeah.
all different body types. And half the people, you have no idea what somebody does in their free time, or how healthy they are,
Yeah.
or how they eat, or how they don't eat, or
Yeah.
how they work out, or how they don't work out. And so, but unfortunately, we live in this fucked up society that puts this picture on things of what's the number on the scale, and
Yeah.
what's the picture look like, you know, what is, and I don't like, and that's
Yeah.
something I try to work with my kids too, like, that image is not correct.
It's not reality.
realistic.
It's not reality. And especially
yeah.
when you look at fitness models and stuff like this, if you're looking at Instagram or even magazines, because that magazines used to be the thing where it's like, that shit's photoshopped.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like that. That's not reality. And a lot of times the reality, it's not sustainable. Like me at 11% body fat, I could keep that, but I couldn't keep happy with that. You know, I looked shredded. I looked great. I felt great. But it was one of those things that I wanted to get there, and I'm glad I did. But it didn't. It's like,
That was the same with me. That's how I was. I was like, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got there. I did feel great, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I was like, I gotta break this freaking nutrition plan. I need something else. Like,
Right?
I
Right.
need to mix it up a little.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was stoked for a moment, but I was like, this isn't on, I even want to look forever,
Yeah.
you know? Because I did borderline almost, I mean, I was healthy as all get out, but I kind of looked a little sickly. But yeah, I think it's such a great place to be there, because like you said, you have such a broad spectrum of people, and
Yeah.
they're all working their butts off, and it's such a, I don't know, it's a happy place for me.
Yep.
And it's like I said, it's a place I like to take my kids too, because they get to see that, you know.
and of course we're talking about FS.
Yes, we're talking
Very
about
strong.
FS. But I mean, you guys get it. Like, we're
Yeah.
all similar in age. You grew up in that. Us, for women, I don't want to say for women especially, because that's not fair. But I grew, when I was younger, I remember it was all about the number on the scale. You know, like, that was when my mom was always, like, dieting and stuff. And it was always, I don't even own a scale. I don't want a scale in my house. I don't want to know. I want to know how I feel. I want to know, like, how
Yeah.
my clothes fit and that I'm comfortable, and that's it. Like, if I'm going to compete or something, then I need to know, sure, but I don't want it to be like something that's
Your driving
that I have to
force.
hyper focus
Yeah.
on. You know, it was no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So that's all.
No,
fine.
that's good. I mean, that's great, because Rajnita, I've had to encourage her to get into that mindset that this is not about what the scale says.
It's a really hard mindset to get out of when that's kind of like how
Your gauge.
you're gauged,
Yeah.
how you're brought up. You know. Like when I
Well,
was-
and now that FS has that have you been on their
no.
InBody? So it's a 3-dimensional one,
Right.
which is fucking horrible. No, it's great, but goddamn, I didn't know that fucking thing was there.
Right.
Fat roll right
I
there.
haven't, because I've done a pinch test, like, before, because
Yeah.
they had the old InBody machine, which I refused to get on that. Like, they were like, when they first got it, they were like, oh, everybody can try it once unless you want to get in the program for it. But I felt like my pinch test was so much more accurate. Well, I didn't get on the other one, but I just saw other people, and I'm like, there's no way in hell. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
And then the new machine, I saw, I can't remember who it was. But yeah, I saw, that's just trippy.
It is trippy.
It's
but
trippy.
But I guess where I was going with that is it's good for a person like Rajnita, because she's seen, okay, this is where I'm holding a lot of the stuff I want to get rid of. And she's also able to see that the scale doesn't mean shit because I'm losing fat while I'm gaining muscle.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people, they need to throw their fucking scales away, because if you're building muscle and getting rid of fat at the same time, which is lifting weights, not cardio, that's where it's like, don't pay attention to the scale.
So when at FS, so the gym used to be off of like down by like where Dairy Queen is,
Yeah.
like 46 and Main Street, and then they moved over to High Banks. And initially, the desk was in that front lobby area, and they had this rubber mold, and it was a representation of what 5 pounds of body fat looks. That thing sat, I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
I don't know where it ended up or where
They're
it disappeared
huge, right?
to.
Yeah.
But it sat on the desk right there. Like the first thing you saw when you walked through the door was this thing. But then I remember once looking up and it was like, how big is 5 pounds of like muscle mass?
Yeah.
You know, and how it's like such a more condensed, like,
more, yeah.
yeah. And so, like you said, just with Raj, it's getting through that mindset of like, fuck the scale.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was like super overweight and unhealthy, yes, there's a point where that counts and a point where that matters. But
Yeah.
right now, that's not where.
Well, it's not a focus, and it shouldn't be.
Doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
So.
What's the future hold for you?
Future. Well, maybe finishing that degree so I can, advance in career. Really just raising my kids to be decent human beings, self-sufficient.
Which you've done a good job from what I know of them.
Well, I'm a mom with 2 boys. I'm like the opposite of you in your house. You're like the only guy in your house. I'm the only female in my house. Every other feature that's like, so just raising my boys to be good, decent people. Just working my ass off. I have goals, but things like I want to sell my house eventually and move into a different one, but that kind of falls into the career aspect,
Yeah.
And then as my kids get older, like they're not going to live with me forever, but space and things like that. But really just being happy,
Good.
just riding the wave. And I'm a project person, so I'm always looking for something. I always have something going on, even if it's just refinishing a table, but otherwise it's
Staying busy.
Yeah, staying busy.
That's how I am,
Otherwise
exactly.
Yeah, otherwise I should be focusing on finishing my degree for school and things like that. Another one of those stay busy things, and just
The projects feed the soul, though.
they do. I don't sit still well. I have a hard time even sometimes sitting down to watch a TV episode. I got to get up 5 times.
Yeah.
So just staying busy, staying happy, being healthy.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's a good way to end it.
All right.
Thank
then.
you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. You gave me the look. You're like,
There we go.
you guys need to label those buttons.
I do have them labeled. It's sideways.
It's sideways.
Thank you.
Thanks.